Amen. All right. So to our viewers, I want you to get ready to know that we are ready. I am ready for you tonight. And we normally call this show, Keep It Real. So if you see me stand up, I am keeping it real. I'm in my home. If you see me shout, I'm in my home. If I laugh, I'm in my home. This is Keep It Real. So here, we don't want to have a situation whereby we look at things and we are like, it must be this way. No, where there is Spirit of God, there is liberty. So we pray that that liberty, we will experience it tonight in Jesus' mighty name. All
Amen.
right. You are welcome, and please always allow me to call you billionaire. Always allow me to call you billionaire, because we are not ashamed of what God has made you to be. We are not ashamed at all, at all. As a matter of fact, we are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hid. And so I am so grateful that I have a brother in the faith that is called a billionaire. For me, it is a pride to me and a joy to me. So when I call you that, I want to believe that there is nobody out there getting offended and thinking that I am just making you look too important. You are not too important. You are extremely important. Extremely important in this, our dispensation. Extremely important to God. Because if you are not, Jesus couldn't have died for people that are not important. So if you are watching us from across the globe, I want you to help me welcome billionaire, the way we call bishop and pastor. His own is billionaire George Washiru, the CEO of UpTV. You can see his company behind him. He is not ashamed to say, this is who I am. A warm welcome from across the globe. Yes. Let's cheer our own. Let's appreciate our own. Glory be to God. Let's appreciate our own. Amen. All right.
Amen.
So now straight to the point. To our viewers, don't forget to share this wherever you are. Fans of Billionaire, make sure you share this. Don't just watch. Our friends, make sure you share. In between, I'll keep on talking to you. Make sure you share. Let everybody be part of this. Now, the way we are going to go tonight, your questions will come to me as usual. You will send your questions on Facebook, and I have our wonderful media crew who are on standby. Excellent women of God. They are on standby, and the man of God also, there is one man with them. And we are also on YouTube. So also welcome, I welcome those of you on YouTube. All our questions, I will answer, I will ask Billionaire at the end of the show. The reason is because towards the end, not at the end, towards the end. The reason is because he has so many to download tonight. And if we begin with questions, we may not finish the course outline. So first listen, make your comments, and then ask your questions. We welcome all comments. I tell you, when I read your comments last week, I was so encouraged to note that you value what we are doing, to note that you are interested in being a financially free individual, that you don't want to be under financial bondage or captivity. So keep your comments strolling in, let them be streaming in, let them be rolling in, let them be rocking in, whichever one, but just let's get on and get your comments to know what you feel about this show, about the man, about me, about wealth, about money. All right, billionaire number one, I want you to answer us. You worked for 10 years only. I call it only because I have worked much more than that. You worked for 10 years only, and you were able to save 5 million Kenya shillings, and you were a salary earner. Please, can you tell us something about saving? Is saving a kingdom culture? Is it a kingdom culture to save? Or there are people that have the worldview that why should I save? when there are so many needs. I don't need to keep my money in the bank. I need to spend it anywhere. And not that they are doing investment. I can understand if you don't have money in the bank, but you have property here and there, you have businesses here and there, but there are people, investments they don't have, property they don't have, and savings they don't have, but they have income, they receive income. So please tell us, how did you save 5 million in 10 years? And what do you think about savings as a Christian and as a kingdom culture?
Wow, thank you to all our viewers. Thank you, Dr. Pastor Obasi-ike. I am extremely humbled this evening to come again to mentor, to inspire, to motivate our people across the globe. Wow, very, very interesting, because we are here to download what God has enabled us to do. And once again, pertaining to that particular question of saving, I go to the story of the Bible where, we are likened by this small insect called an ant. It's able to gather during a summer for preparation of winter. And for us as individuals, we have a call so that whatever God has given to us, we must be able to save it for the rainy season. There's a policy I always implement even today. We call it 70, 10, 10, 10. 70, 10, 10, 10. 10%. You give it back to the owner. You tithe where you go to church. That's the place where you get your spiritual nourishment. That is where you pay your 10%. It's not giving, it's paying what God has given you. The 10%, that is what you save. Even if you earn 10,000 a month, ensure that the 10% of 10,000, you save it. That's 1,000. Keep it somewhere that can also generate returns. The other 10% is you invest. Come to Optiven and invest that particular money. 70%, you have yourself to buy your own clothes. You can pay your rent. You can pay your insurances. And that policy has worked for me. That policy can work for you because it works magic. 70, 10, 10, 10. Of course, during my journey, God was faithful. God was very, very, very faithful on me because I was able to work for a period of time. And when I started working with a supermarket. Then God opens doors to work with international companies. I worked with the UNICEF. I was in Sudan. I worked with World Vision, Somalia. I worked with the Lutheran World Federation. I also worked with the other organizations. And one thing that God enabled me is that, for example, when I was working in Kakuma refugee camp, I was able to save most of my salary because food was provided, accommodation was provided in the camp, and that's the time I really saved a lot of money. When I came back to the city of Nairobi, the life was a bit challenging, and I discovered that the same savings I was doing when I was out there in the diaspora, I was not able to save because life in Nairobi was a bit expensive. That's the time I immediately opened a shop in Gara for beauty shop for cosmetics. And I was generating every evening after work. After 5, that's your time. 5 all the way to 9. I was able to sell between 2,000 to 3,000 for an evening. And all that money, I was putting it into savings. And that was amazing. I was able to save 5+ million within 10 years by the grace of God. So for all our members, don't say that I earn little money. No. Implement the concept of savings. Look at the Asian community. The Asian community, when they are going to work, they use one car. But for us Africans, we want to buy a big thing, a V8, a Prado, a Subaru. Yet, we are not saving. I think we can learn from the Asian community.
Praise God. Thank you so much. That is very clear. That is very direct. So save 70, 10, 10. Even if that 10 that you're saving is 5 shillings, is better than nothing. And there is a way God multiplies it. So you save 10. After you've given God 10%, which is your tithe, I thank God that you mentioned that even though a billionaire, you are saying that one is mandatory. I normally tell people the way that the government collects their tithe, their tax, is the way a church is supposed to collect tithe. And in fact, as a matter of fact, in our organization, RCCG, Kenya here, we deduct tithe from staff. After we remove government tax, The next thing is we deduct your tithe, then we give you your salary. And when we are employing you, you sign that you accept, because it is willingly. It is not by force. You sign. The reason why we do it is because we realize that there were certain staff that we collect salary from the tithe of members of church. You know, the salaries of our church staff are paid solely from tithe. Solely from tithe. We can't even, offering cannot pay salary. It is tithe. So we felt it was unfair and unjust for Mboga women, fish women, sellers to go to Gikomba and sell their things, bring the 10% to us in church for us to have salary. Then you pay it to the staff will eat the 100% without trading back the 10%. So the board said no. So we make you to pay it. And the reason is what you have said, it's not your money. If you eat the tax that belongs to government, you will go to jail. You will go to jail, you will pay it back or go to jail. The same thing, the government of the world learned VAT, tax, from the Bible. The origin of tax is from the Bible, from the Old Testament, New Testament. And so the government of this world realized that they cannot survive without tax. They use it to maintain us, they use it to maintain roads, infrastructures. The same way, if you are a Christian and you eat your tithe, you are eating what God's supposed to use to maintain you, to maintain your infrastructure, maintain your medical care. That is why the Bible says, if you pay your tithe, you will see God open the heavens and he will pour blessings and rebuke the devourers. These devourers are things like, you know, tragedies, sicknesses, and all those things. Because when you pay your tithe, you have given God your health insurance. There is an insurance. You have given some money for them to maintain you. You have given some money for the kingdom to move forward for the work of God. Not long ago, somebody sent me little money on M-Pesa. And she said, Mom, this is my tithe. Please use it to help anybody in need. I knew she was speaking in ignorance. So I text her back. I said, thank you so much for this tithe, but you cannot tell me to use your tithe to help anybody in need. I said, there is a difference between tithe and benevolence. I said, because if I use this, your tithe, and give anybody in need, the fellow will say, Mommy, thank you. I can receive a thank you that belongs to God. So I told her, tithe goes to the church. Tithe goes into the church and you allow the pastors to do whatever they want to do with it. So I asked her, where do I send this tithe? She said, Mommy, send it to Solution Center. Quickly, I sent it to the account of Solution Center. So she eventually now sent a little money now from her own pocket and say, use it to help somebody in need. Those are the part of the things we are using for welfare. So you discover that people may not know the difference between tithes and benevolence and philanthropy. You can't use your tithe for philanthropy. You can't use your tithe for benevolence. You can't give your tithe and expect somebody to say, oh, thank you for giving me tithe. You take the tithe belongs to God. The government does not thank citizens. Thank you for paying tax. It is a mandatory obligation. So even when we pastors are telling members, thank you for paying tax, it's just to be polite. It's just actually to be polite. We are not supposed to do that because it is what you are owing God. So you are returning it back. So you should be telling God, thank you for accepting my tithe. So 70-10-10 is a principle that is very good. On that point one, you mentioned that 10% that you are saving, you started a shop at Ngara. In other words, you are encouraging people that outside your regular job that you earn salary, which makes you to go to work from 8 a.m. to 5 or 8:30 to 5:30, depending on the organization, that you can still have something by the side. Is that what you're saying, Billionaire? You can still have something by the side outside your salary.
Quickly, Pastor, it depends on regulations of different organizations. There are organizations that say if you're working for Optimum, for example, you cannot be able to do maybe trade business, but you can be able to invest in stocks, you can invest in other ventures. So it all depends on the nature of business. For example, if you're working for Optimum, you cannot go out there and start now selling properties, and we're also selling properties. It all depends on your area of operation, but there are other options whereby people can invest. A good example is buying stocks.
Excellent. So in other words, when you are working in an organization, be careful to know the rules and regulations of that organization so that you tread gently. You don't go and be reproducing what that organization is doing. You will be a saboteur in that organization and you may lose your job. Very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, 70-10-10, give God 10%, use 70 to solve your problem, save 10, and that 10 can be invested in a business that is not a competitor to your primary assignment, place of work. Number two, people worry about interest rates, collateral. I was in Kigali for Global Summit this February that passed, and women were complaining that many financial institutions want to give them money, but when you hear the interest rate, you get discouraged. You just get discouraged. So my question would be, how do we assess money in Kenya? Is there a way, are there financial institutions in Kenya that I can go in now and get money to start my business, especially the small, medium enterprises? And is there anything like interest-free loan, something like that? And what are the opportunities we have to access money to kick up business in this country?
Well, thank you, Daktari. That's a loaded question, and I'll try to answer it as much as I can. Yes, I would say that the cost of money, especially in Africa, is a bit expensive, but we are happy that there are other sources of money. And for all the business people that are listening to us, it is also important to know that there are some businesses you can actually start without money or with very little money. And the other businesses, like real estate, of course, need money. And very quickly for our viewers, there are businesses that I can mention here very quickly on how you can start them without money. One of them is content developers. Today, because of the digital platform, a lot of our young people need to develop content. You only need your head and your creativity to develop this content. Some of these guys are writers, they are editors, they are photographers, they are artists. They can be able to make money without necessarily having capital. Number two, personal creators. These are people like painters and craftsmen, craftswomen. You can use your skill to generate money without necessarily any capital. Number three, home services. People doing landscaping. Today, people are looking for beauty. Come and beautify my compound. You only require your hands and your creativity and make money. Number four, the skill-based services. People like plumbers, people like house repairs. You can be able to register these businesses and not necessarily requiring money. And of course, the last one, the consulting. People who consult, the coaches, the mentors, they charge you to do counseling for you and you make money. And of course, there are other businesses that you require money. There are 5 sources of money I'm going to share with our listeners, with our viewers, the 5 sources of money. Source number 1 is friends and relatives. Wow. Keep your relationship well, because you can borrow money from your friends, from your relatives. You can create a merry-go-round so that when your time comes, you get this particular money and you do business. Number 2, there's what they call the CBD source of money. CBD, cash before delivery. Maybe George wants fruits. You tell me, please, if you want fruits, pay me 1,000 before I deliver. That's money upfront that you did not have. I call it the CBD, cash before delivery, or cash on delivery, COD. COD is a big source of money. COD, cash on delivery. The time you deliver to my doorstep, I do the payment. Number 3, financial institutions. We have banks, we have SACCOs, and that's why we encourage all our people to join these SACCOs. It could be a small SACCO, a bigger SACCO, and you can be able to borrow 4 times or 5 times. And of course, financial institutions We have others, government, the Women Fund, where women are able to get money in groups. And of course, the next one is what we call, we talked earlier with Dr. Esther, the savings, the money you save it and then do business with it. Lastly, personal loans. There are people who are listening to us and they are in career. You can be able to get unsecured loan and use that loan to do business. I used to do that when I used to work for a different organization. I take a loan, put it in the business. It is possible and doable. And the bonus point is trade credit, whereby you develop relationship.
You are filling our heads tonight. Because I don't know how we are going to manage. Go ahead.
The bonus point is a trade credit, whereby you develop relationship with the suppliers. They can be able to give you products on credit. If you are selling hair, for example, human hair, for example, you can go to the supplier, tell them, please give me this human hair for about 3 days. In those 3 days, you sell and pay back. They call it trade credit, getting items on credit, and then you pay later. But of course, it needs a lot of honesty, authenticity, and keeping the word. Thank you, Dr. Adi.
Hey, please let's give a round of applause wherever you are. Give a round of applause. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, thank God forever for us. These are the things we go for seminars and you are paying $10,000 US, $20,000 US to assess, and you are assessing it free of charge. And let me tell you, what we are learning now, when we are done, now we go back and take notes because they are too much. In fact, what you do now, Billionaire George, help me, because you mentioned ways that people can, you say skill, consultancy. The first group, there is the first group where you talked about writing. You mentioned like 5 things. I caught skill, I caught consultancy. What other things did you say? 3 before that?
We talked about the content developers. These are people
content developers, correct?
These are writers, editors.
No, you don't need to explain, just the wording so that we can, I want to write down.
The number 2 is personal creators or personal creation.
Correct.
Home services.
Correct.
Skill-based services.
Correct.
And the consultants or consulting.
Do we have your permission to use these things to teach somebody?
Yes, you have my full permission.
Excellent. Thank you, because I love to multiply knowledge. I can use it. I want to testify that what you are saying is true about content developers and some writings. During this pandemic, I authored a book that is talking about the destiny, seed of destiny, the things that help you to make sure you fulfill your destiny. But I had to pay an editor to edit it. While the pandemic was on, she earned a lot of money. The editor, the professional editor, people are saying we can't go out, the government has locked us down. But when she was at home, she edited my book and I paid her fully. I paid somebody to design the book, and I've never met the fellow who designed the book. I don't know him. Somebody gave me a contact. He said he lives outside Nairobi. On email, he did a fantastic job and designed the book. I paid him. As I'm talking to you now, how to maximize your potential, because I ran out of it and my Yahoo was hacked. I don't have the soft copy and I want it to begin my online training. So we gave it out to somebody who has charged to type it. One of my daughters said, I'll pay fully for the typing. And I've seen today, she has told me they are done. I should go through and see and say whether it's okay. This means that even right now, there are people who are not paying for rent. They are not paying for bills, but they are at home collecting money. So I paid editor, I paid designer. Now we are paying somebody to retype a book within a few days. So I completely accept what you are saying. Viewers, please go back, because these 5 sources, you say you are giving us 5 sources of assessing fund, but you gave almost 8 or 9. You gave
almost a bonus.
Yes, so bonus. So please go back to these things. I don't have time to talk about them. Friends and relatives, CBD, COD, financial institutions, groups, savings, personal loans, SACCOs. These are the things you have just taught in 1 minute. And I tell you, viewers, you have to belong to somewhere. You can't shut yourself out of circle, out of groups, out of relatives or whatever. There is no way God will drop manna from heaven. You have to belong to some of these things. I pray that you go back and listen back to these things and ask questions. As you are listening to me now, help somebody. Share this thing, share this video. Please go to where we are talking of share. Just touch share. That icon share is free. It is not loan. It does not have interest. Just go there and tell God, I want to be a blessing to friends to hear what Dr. George is talking about. Number 3, marketing. Some people have products, but they don't know how to market it. I happen to be a marketer. I worked in 3 organizations before I came into full-time. My first one, I worked in the accounts department. I'm not an accountant, but I was so trusted. My level of integrity made them to put me where cash was being transacted, and they put their safe, the company safe was in my house, in my bedroom. And that was how I worked. The second job was marketing, bringing businesses for the company. The third job was marketing, but fund mobilization in a finance institute. So in a finance house, mobilizing fund. In all these places, I excel. I was actually one of the best staff that they did not allow me to go at any time when I wanted to resign. So I understand that marketing is tough. It was a tough job. My prayer was almost praying for marketing and customers every day instead of other things. Now, when people come to me, they say they have targets, they don't know how to meet it. Some of them have products, they want to sell it, they don't know how to sell it. They don't just know how to do marketing. Can you please help us? How should we do marketing and get profit for it?
Wow, thank you, Dr. Esther Obasi-ike, and our viewers. Very, very interesting, because every product, every business, every service must be marketed. It must be visible. It must be told. You tell someone what you're doing. And I'll run quickly on how we can be able to market our businesses, to market our products. One of them is it's important for us to do a market research. Know your customers, know your location. The customers, know their ages, their lifestyles, what they love and what they are looking for. Number 2, in marketing, know your target market. You cannot market to everyone. It can be very expensive. Know your target market. Number 3, what makes you different from other people? What make your company different? They call it USP, unique selling proposition. What makes you stick? And that is very important. Is it customer care? What is it? Like for us at Optiven, what makes us tick is, of course, customer care and also value addition on our plots, on our properties. It makes us unique and keeping the one. Number 4, keep your marketing avenues active. Keep your marketing avenues active. These avenues are website. Don't develop a website, then it is dead. It is not active. We are talking about social media. Make your social media very active. We are talking about blogging. Be a blogger like George Washuri. I blog twice a week, www.georgewashuri.com. Develop that information through blogs. And of course, brochures. Nowadays, because of pandemic, people are not touching brochures, but you can be able to develop online brochures like what Dr. Esther Obasi-ike did when you are popularizing this particular show. That's very interesting. And of course, how do you activate your avenues? Print advertising. It was popular, but nowadays not very popular. Word of mouth. My goodness. Word of mouth works like electricity. It's effective, it's good. And number 5, you need a budget for you to market. You need a budget to develop a website. You need some money to pay Google for search optimization. You need money to do branding. We'll be talking about branding later on. And once you do that, finally, nurture your customers. Massage your customers as a marketer. How do you massage the customers? Communicate regularly. Once in a while, say hi to them. Hey, dear Daktari, how are you doing? You're not even selling. You're just saying hi to your customer. Of course, when you supply this particular product, even if it is onions or pineapples, ask your customer, how was the taste of the pineapples? Wow, the customer feels so good. And next time they want to order pineapples, they shall order from you. So keep that communication and then finally deliver the promise. If I order pineapples 2 kilos, please don't deliver 1.99 kilos. Let it be 2 kilos so that people can trust you. And of course, bonus point, use feedback and complaints as a way to develop yourself. That way, you are good to go. Thank you, Daktari.
Oh my God, you are messing me up tonight. Hi, my God. You are messing me up and mesmerizing me. I don't know whether people are feeling the way I'm feeling here. I am just saying, Jehovah, your head is a billionaire head. Oh my God. No wonder you are a billionaire. No wonder you are a billionaire. Look at what you are saying about marketing. You have to be visible. You have to do market research to know your customers. What do they like? You have to have target market. You have to have UPS. You have to, when you are dealing with your customers, you have to have good customer care. And you have to have value addition. You have to have marketing avenue active. Places like social media. You cannot have a website that is dormant and is not being maintained every day. That one, I tell you to our media, they will tell you that I push them. You have to, go to the social media and update every day. Let people know. You come to work in the morning, you communicate with your clients online. In the afternoon, you communicate. Before you shut down the computer to go home, you communicate. When you are at home, if you have the time, you communicate. And by doing that, you make them feel that you value the time they are investing to say one or two things on your page. You talked about brochures, and for real, these flyers we put on social media, they are working. You talked about word of mouth. You talked about budget. You talked about nurturing and massaging your customers. Nurturing and massaging your customers just by doing how are you is enough. How is the product? And finally, deliver what you say you will deliver. Don't tell me you are coming by 12 and I'm calling you 6. You are still on the road. 7, I will not want to do business with somebody like that. I'm sure our listeners, our viewers, I tell you, 1 million Kenya shillings is not enough to compare with what we are giving you tonight. This will help me in life, and this will help you in life. Number 4, billionaire. You mentioned branding. Optivin is a brand. RCCG Solution Center is a brand. To God be the glory. Queen Esther's Generation is a brand. And somebody may be asking, what does it take to be a brand? How do you take a journey until you get to a destination that is called brand? And you become a brand where people want to do business with you. Anybody that relates with you is happy. Those who work for Optivin are proud positively, because once you call, I'm a staff of Optivin, they are happy because there is an impression we have about where they are working. Anybody that is a member of Redeemed Christian Church of God Solution Center, there is an expectation from people that you are coming from a brand. And if you say, I am a star, I am a queen, that is Queen Esther's Generation, people already know. As a matter of fact, most of the people that are in our Queen Esther's Generation, they deliver in their companies. They deliver. And I'm so excited when I see their bosses. Oh, that fellow is with you. No wonder they deliver by excellence. How do you build a brand?
Well, thank you, Daktari, and thank you, our viewers. Very quickly, when people hear about the brand, they think the brand is logo, they think the brand is name, they think the brand is tagline. Actually, many think the brand is color. Of course, it's all of those, but it is slightly more than those. The brand is, what are you known for? What do you deliver? What do you stand for? When people hear about Optivin, what comes to their mind is transformation to economically and socially empower and transform the communities. The same with the individual brands. What are you known for? When people see His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, what do they see? Do they see a good president? When they hear about your county governor, it's a brand. When they hear about Dr. Esther Obasi-ike, what's the brand? And I'm so happy to see that brands take time to build. You cannot register a company today, tomorrow you're saying my brand. It takes time for people to trust you. And I'm so happy that there's a way you can develop it. Ensure that your vision is known. Ensure that the brand has got a voice in the society. And that's why you see that big brands like Optiven, we are always there giving back to the communities, donating and supporting other institutions because we want the brand to keep speaking even the time George is with Abraham in heaven.
Amen. So it takes time to build a brand, isn't it? It's not an overnight exercise. It's not an overnight success. For you to build a brand, it takes step by step. You build confidence, you build acceptability, you build, credibility, and at the end of the day, you contribute immensely, or at any level God has placed you, to the society around you, and therefore the society welcomes you and you become a voice and you become a brand. Glory be to God. So when we say we are a brand, it's not by logo, it's not by location, it's not by, people know, it's by our value, our worth. The summary is our worth. Thank you. We go to question number 5. You mentioned last week that we need to have networks. At this time, one individual, one company may not survive on its own. One company may not survive in its own. So I need to build good networks. I need to partner with people so that as I climb, they climb. How do I build network? I don't know anybody. I am just starting business of tomato, onions, or selling clothes or little things. I don't know anybody. How do I build network?
Wow, thank you, Dr. Thank you, Pastor. I'll share with our viewers, our listeners, 5 ways on how to build networks. And these are strategies that have worked for me. One of them is you must be determined to meet people one-on-one. Meet people and talk to them. Tell them, my name is George Washuri. I house people in Kenya. I develop residential properties. Tell it. Meet people. Number 2, choose the right forums that your brand will benefit. Choose the right forums that your brand will benefit. What you are selling will benefit. Number 3, offer volunteer services. Offer volunteer services. This evening, myself and Dr. Obasi-ike and myself, we are actually offering volunteer services. But of course, we are building. we are networking. We are knowing people. After this, people are going to set questions and be asking, who is Dr. Esther Obasi-ike? So we are networking with the people across the globe. And then number 4, use these God-given tools, social media tools to network. Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Instagram, TikTok. Join Facebook groups. Oh my goodness. All these are massive platforms on how to meet people, how to network. Bonus point, attend events. When you go to church, don't go to church after the sermon. You disappear to your house. No, know people. Know what they do, because the person seated next to you could be your game changer, could be the person to change your life. Meet people, attend events, attend church groups, those small groups. Go for Bible study so that you can be able to understand one another in a better manner. Participate in church projects, participate in community projects. When you lose somebody in your village, go to that particular meeting, introduce yourself. Use every opportunity to introduce yourself. One time, Pastor Obasi-ike, I went to State House for a meeting through Kenya Private Sector Alliance. And after the president's speech, he asked, anybody with a question? And my hand was up. And I stood up, I said, exactly. I said, my name is George Washuri. Your presentation was amazing. Otherwise, mine is just to congratulate you. I actually had no question.
That is the wisdom of kingdom billionaires. You stole the moment. You stole the moment from the rest of the investors. You were actually trying to let the president know, I am the one that is called the CEO of Obasi-ike. In case, Mr. President, you didn't. Yeah, I love that. Let me tell you, billionaire, because I have worked in marketing, fund mobilization, I know that those skills work all the time. Those skills work all the time. And sometimes people misunderstand such people and think you are Tozaquin. In Nigeria, we call it Tozaquin, extrovert. People who just like people to notice them. No, if you have a good product, you should let everybody know that I have a good product. Yes. And by the way, the first point you made about networking one-on-one, the reason why Christians, of course, this our show is not just for Christians, it's for everyone. But now, if we talk about Christians, one of the reasons why a born-again Christian may find it difficult to do one-on-one marketing is because they don't do evangelism. They don't do one-on-one evangelism. Can I tell you, sir, any Christian that is a guru on one-on-one evangelism will be a fantastic marketer when it comes to one-on-one. That's what has helped me. You can't meet me and I don't tell you about Jesus Christ. You meet me in the lift and you tell me, oh, you look good. Your clothes look good. I say it's a matter of Jesus Christ. And we begin chatting. You meet me anywhere, my hair is nice. I tell you, well, Jesus is glorifying me. Amen. It is something that we must put as part of our lifestyle, evangelism, one-on-one. It will translate into our day-to-day business. Thank you so much. You talked about one-on-one. You talked about joining forums, being in forums like the one of tonight that we are discussing. I've seen questions. I will ask you shortly. You talked about offer your skill voluntarily. These are the things I always tell people. People have hit businesses and jobs just because they serve voluntarily. They just sharpen their skills in the place of volunteering their skills. And from there, God makes a way. The skill opens door. It's not all the time that when you are asked to do something, you ask how much, for how much. First, sell your skill and your gift will open doors for you. You talked about social media. I can tell you, one of our spiritual daughters was with me in our house before pandemic. She was washing utensils. While she was in our house, she got a call. It was her LinkedIn that they read her profile, offered that job where she's working now on Ungo. She got it right from LinkedIn, and I am a witness because I was in the house when she was washing my utensils, and that call came. How did she get into LinkedIn? I went to the US and I had somebody talk about social networking through LinkedIn. It was a call. I went to speak as a guest speaker. But during the seminar, I sat and I had a speaker talking about the power of LinkedIn, how her son in US got a powerful job through LinkedIn. I came back the same Sunday. After I returned, the first Sunday, I taught our church. I told all of them to go to LinkedIn, to open it, put a beautiful picture, package your profile. When I finished, she was one of those that obeyed that instruction and opened LinkedIn. Today, she's working in a big organization. Wow. And it was LinkedIn. So what we are talking about tonight, information is key, is important. I want to believe that people will take it serious. Go to events, and from events, if you find an opportunity like Washiri, and they ask, who has a question? Lift up your hand. When you stand, you say, I just like everything that happened here. You people did so well. I don't actually have a question. I'm so and so. You have your seat. There is another thing you taught one time that I borrowed from you. You said, make sure that you carry your business cards to everywhere you go. That don't be writing your name and your telephone number for people with biro. Anywhere you are going, carry your business cards, because you can meet somebody and they are in a hurry. All they're asking you is, give me your card, I'll call you. You told us that thing works all the time. So if you're listening to us, you have not printed business cards. Go and print it. Believe God that as you move, as you walk, you will see people that those business cards can link you up with. All right. The last question before I ask you about Optivin. People are complaining that doing business nowadays is so difficult because of corruption. Everywhere you go, they need kidogo. Small tips here and there. For contracts, you need to do ABCD. To get a job, you need to do ABCD. How do you survive as a Christian that wants to live and do the right thing in a society that is corrupt? How do you do business? Optivin, how do you do it?
Well, thank you, Daktari. I think it's very, very important to know that 80% of our population in Kenya is Christians. Of course, the practicing one could be about 20%, and all these Christians are in the offices. And there is some particular region I would mention here that they wear a certain badge. And when they see this person is from this particular region, they support one another. And for us as Christians in business, we need to be bold. Wherever you go, let people know that you are born again. You go to media, tell people, me, I serve Jesus Christ. Say it until they know that you are a Christian. Once they know you are Christian, there is no office in Kenya. We do not have Christians. And those are the people, those are the networks you're talking about. We can be able to network with them. Go to the county of Nairobi. They are born again Christians there. You need a license. Talk to them. They will support you. They will help you. They will be able to make you jump to the next step. So the disaster is most of our Christians, they don't say they are Christians. They are mute. So if all of us, we can declare, we can be able to jump all these challenges, because these challenges, they are not new in the Bible. They were there. And those who are called by the name, they were able to surpass those challenges. So if you are Christian out there, let's start confessing. Let's put a badge that I'm born again. You find people in all those offices who are also born again, and they'll support you. And you have seen that in Optivin so many times.
Glory be to God. In fact, if you are watching us, I want you to market this word. Don't be a mute Christian. Don't be a mute Christian. I want to go back to this program of tonight to see many comments on don't be a mute Christian. Don't be a mute. Let people begin to ask us, what does it mean? Then you will say, we can no longer be silent. We need to speak of our identity publicly and let our identity speak for us in the marketplace. And I tell you, if you declare your identity and you think your identity will work against you, because somebody will now say this born again will not give bribe, bring that case to Solution Center. We will deal with that corruption with prayers. And you will discover that such people will not sleep. While we are praying, they will be the ones to call you the next day to come and take that business and that contract. So please, let's unmute. Let's unmute. Yes, let's unmute. And I can tell you, if you are a mute Christian, God will mute your business and mute opportunities for you. So unmute so that God can unmute opportunities and favor shall be your portion. All right. We have a good number of questions, so we will be quick with this one. Then we will go to 2 more segments before we close. Billionaire, you mentioned last week about Optivin, that Optivin does ABCD for the society, and you give 5% to the community also, and that is why part of the secrets of your prosperity. Can you tell us how Optivin partners with God through serving humanity and the importance of that in every business that wants to prosper God's way?
Thank you, Dr. Esther, and our viewers, very, very important. Optivin, we are established by our vision to economically and socially empower and transform the societies. And how we empower, we registered a foundation. It's called Optivin Foundation, and you can find it online, www.optivinfoundation.org, and look at 4 areas. We look at the areas of education. We have children in all the 47 counties that we sponsor to access education, but these children must be total orphans. We have the health sector, whereby we support the senior citizens, the old people. And of course, we have the issues of environment, and we also do a lot of mentorship, especially for graduates who have finished school and they are looking for a job. As we talk now, Dr. Ali, we just launched a mentorship program whereby we are going to get into our system 100 people who have done sales and marketing, and they are looking for jobs they cannot get. We shall mentor them, train them for 6 months, and we are going to do this. They're doing this online through the foundation, and of course, the 5% to the foundation.
Before you go further, Billionaire, you are looking for 100 people to mentor so that they can be prepared for business. Please give 50 people to my church.
I can see you are a very good steward.
Honestly speaking, when we're out of this camera, you tell me the number of people you can take from my church, serious people, so that at least you can register them. By the time pandemic is over and things, I will be giving you feedback. You know, anybody that has my recommendation, you can bank on that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Of course, you gave me Kilonzo, who is doing so well at Optiven. He is now a star in terms of sales, and we really value him. Kilonzo.
That is the product of Solution Center.
Fantastic. And of course, Dr. Ali, we can give you 10 because the demand is so high. We want to.
Solution people, help us wherever you are. If you're from Solution, shout hallelujah, hallelujah. We have entered into the Optiven Foundation, 10 from Solution Center.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. And of course, the others will be able to apply. And the issue of partnering with God is real. We also support Christian associations that propagate the gospel. People like Hope FM, we partner a lot with Hope FM to ensure that we are also supporting them. We partner with Truth FM, and those associations have been our partners because we know that when the money is in their programs, the gospel is going on. And of course, we thank God that the foundation has been on the forefront to ensure that we are supporting the communities. And if you are there, you can also be able to partner with us. We have sponsors who come and say, George, I want a girl from West Pokot. I want a girl from Mombasa. You can be able to come in and also partner together to inspire and to motivate and to support our community, because this is a demand from the Bible. Remember the story of Cornelius. You know, when he was praying, God told him, because you give alms, your prayers are answered. So every person who gives, there's a secret. There's a secret on giving, especially back to the less fortunate. God opens doors for you. And he has done it at Optiven, and that's the secret behind the Optiven brand.
Thank you so much, my brother. You have blown our heads tonight. Look at what Optiven is doing. So when you are called the leading real estate in East Africa, it's because God's finger is upon you. And God's finger is upon you because you did not forget God in the day of your prosperity. You know, Deuteronomy chapter 8 tells us, when God has blessed you, don't eat and forget him. The problem of the church today is that when we are struggling, we remember God. We pray, we fast, we are humble. As soon as God does one little thing for us, we are so arrogant, we forget God, we forget God's people, we forget where we are coming from. Thank God that you have not forgotten and that you are a blessing. I will also testify, you blessed our girls. You know, I mentor secondary school girls ages 13 to 20. 2 years ago, you paid for some of them to come for the training, and you gave 250,000 for me to recruit some of them, and Optiven also came there to see what we were doing. And if you're watching us today, we have those opportunities. Look at the teenage pregnancies. Look at what we have been preparing people. I want to believe that those people we are mentoring are not part of these girls that are getting pregnant in this pandemic. But this is the way we have been preparing the people to make sure that our girls know how to carry their virginity, their dignity. And this is how we are putting into the society. Nobody pays us for that. But we go bringing little children and spending 3 days. Last December, we spent 2 nights with them somewhere just to make them understand their values and their worth. So if you are watching me tonight, you want to partner with us, we are doing so much. I mentor secondary school girls ages 13 to 20, and I Teach them how to have value systems, how to have self-identification for self-actualization. Please partner with us. You can sponsor one girl, and you have sponsored the next president of any nation or international organization. We are doing so many other things. Thank you to OpTV that even tonight, just by this show, I have 10 slots from you. That is a great one. And I promise you, we will give you the people that you will not regret mentoring in business. All right, we want to go into questions of people. But before we go into that, I want to make some announcements so that as soon as you finish answering people, we can ask you for your parting shot, something to part with. So I don't want to break it with an announcement. So our viewers, listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. Some of you, actually, we got overwhelming requests for the guests, Pastor Gideon and Teresa, to return on this show to finish their story of their marriage. You remember when I hosted them and they talked about how the wife will call the husband cow, the husband will call the wife legions of demons. And so we ended that show by asking them, at what point did things change in your marriage? And they said the day they sat themselves down and shut the door on anyone else, and they faced themselves. That was where we left it. And we have been getting a lot of pressure that we should return them to finish that story. I am glad to tell them we will be hosting them this coming Sunday. Hallelujah. They will be on our show 8 p.m. Gideon and Teresa, 8 p.m. next Sunday, to tell you how they eventually sat down, what they did, how they spoke to themselves, and how they sorted themselves out, and how it was later. Now, tomorrow is my evening sacrifice with you people, our prayer. Last week was fantabulous, fantastic. As I'm talking to you, I believe that the prayer meeting of last Monday has reached over 50,000. I think by the time I checked, we were already hitting 50,000 or thereabout in reaching. This Monday, tomorrow, 8 p.m., I'll be touching an area that for years, I don't think we've gone that direction. And it is in the ministry of angels, angelic ministrations. God mentioned to me, based on Psalm 91, verse 7, that I should pray for you and release, and that he wants to release. No human being can release angels. God will release angels to you tomorrow, and you will understand how they function, how they work, and you will begin to encounter strange things. You begin to encounter the kind of encounters that the people of old encountered, where people walked into the bedroom, healed them, where surgeries were done while you were sleeping, fibroids were, lifted, and, those kind of surgeries. God said he's in a season to release angels. So tomorrow by 8, make sure you're on Pastor Obasi-ike's page, this same page, as I lead you through the prayer of angelic visitation. You can't afford to miss it. The list of the angels that will be in your house will be in thousands tomorrow. I will also share fantastic testimonies of people that have benefited from our ministry before we begin to pray. So keep it with me at Evening Sacrifice, this page tomorrow, 8 p.m. Then our annual summit. Oh my God. The gathering of stars and queens, annual summit, Jehovah, is unbelievable that this week is supposed to be every road leads to Nairobi, all the aeroplanes flying in. Guests supposed to be arriving from tomorrow, but for the pandemic. But you know what? I don't give up. And I don't believe that God is a regret, and he never tenders regret or apology for anything. This Saturday, I will stand at the altar of Solution Center and minister in the anointing and in the grace of annual summit. I will minister and function in the anointing of a combination of ministers and speakers that would have been standing. One of them is Billionaire George. He was supposed to speak to us this week, but God has eventually brought him online. Thank you so much. So on Saturday, I will be on stage to declare thus says the Lord on the theme, you are God's project. The topic I'll be handling, you that is watching me tonight, you are God's project. So when I am God's project, what is expected and what will the world expect? This you will hear on Saturday, 3 p.m. Follow us on Queen Esther's Generation YouTube, Queen Esther's Generation YouTube, and Queen Esther's Generation Facebook. We shall be in both pages 3 p.m. on Saturday. Don't miss it. And when you get our flyers, which are already on our Facebook, make sure you share it. Let the world know that we cannot be stopped. We are in lockdown, but our mouths are wide open. So we are going to speak, and please share our flyers. Right now, I want to go into the questions you have sent to us, but I want you to share. Share this program right now in case you came on board late. Share it. Let everyone know what we are saying tonight because we have just a few minutes to close. Share it, touch it. I don't want you to forget. Go to where it is share. Unmute, share. Unmute, share. When you share, you are unmuting your identity. You are saying, I am a Christian and I'm not ashamed to share the gospel of God. So go there and share. All right, Billionaire, let's begin. Somebody is asking you, Billionaire, do you pay your tithe yourself? He said, does the billionaire pay his tithe?
Well, thank you, Daktari. Thank you for the, the question. Actually, I pay my tithe the same way I pay government tax. I have a standing order for my tithe. When my salary comes to my account, the tithe goes directly to the account of my church, Destiny Life Church by Levered Katutu. That's I pay faithfully without fear or favor.
Thank you so much. You have heard it. It's a standing order. He pays it. He has called the name of his church and his pastor. You can check. You can call that pastor and find out. Thank you for being a leader that leads by example. The next question, please, Mr. George, kindly clarify on this. If my employer is deducting my pension from my salary, which is equivalent to 10% of my pay, can this serve us the 10% you mentioned we should be saving? Thank you in advance. So this fellow is saying in their company, the company deducts pension 10% that they save for the staff. You know, there are companies that save, even us. We do the same, but not that percentage. We deduct, but by will, you have to agree. We are saving with a certain organization for their tomorrow so that they have job security and something to fall on. This is the same thing this company is doing, but they are deducting 10% from the salary. This fellow is asking, is that the equivalent of the 10% you are saying people should save in the bank?
Fair enough. The pension comes when we are old. I would encourage the person asking the question to go an extra mile to work out 70, 10, 10, 10 from what comes after the government taxes. So, because this 10% you can reinvest it. Pension, you cannot invest. So you enjoy it when you are old. So if you want to catch up with the eagles, please save extra. That would be a bonus.
All right, so pension addresses majorly when you are old.
Yes.
Then so that your old age is not in pain and in struggle. So they should go an extra mile to save something also by the corner. But I also realized recently, Billionaire, we had some of our staff who for one reason or the other let go to leave the organization. And where we've been saving some percentage of pension for them outside the pension of government, I realized that they were able to assess it. They actually went there and they were able to assess their own investment, but the one that the church is putting, because church is putting a percentage for them and themselves put, that one for church, there is an age they will pick it. But the one themselves put there was no loss. I was told by the accountant that they are able to have it. So it's also very good if you work in an organization that is so generous to create something like that, that they make you, actually it's like compulsorily making you to save. For those who don't have the culture of saving, this company helps you to save So they take some money from your salary and keep, and now add like our own, we pay double of what they pay to keep for them. So with that, you discover that at the end of the day, they have saved some money they can access. But it should be good if they can also go an extra mile, even if it's 2% or 3%, to save something. And more importantly, they can use it to start a business by the side that does not conflict or compete with this judge advice or motivation. Would you give to young, upcoming, as I was to read that one, another question came and moved that one. All right. George, what advice or motivation would you give to young, upcoming entrepreneurs in Kenya? There are entrepreneurs, they are very young people coming up. What can you say to them?
Well, thank you for the young entrepreneurs. I think when you start young, it means that you have the right opportunity. I would encourage you to keep the consistency and also keep being very creative in offering solutions. Identify the problems and offer solutions. I also tell them that they were born to fly, so let them fly. They were born to dominate their area of expertise, dominate those young entrepreneurs. They were born to make their own decisions, make those decisions. And then finally, they were born to walk their own path, walk those paths. And I can tell you, as a young entrepreneur, we have the opportunity in Kenya to capture and also to be able to seize the opportunities within your profession, within your area of focus. Don't do everything. Do one thing and do it so well that nobody can ignore you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Somebody is asking, please address the issue of tithing. You know, I took time for that tithing because I know that is one area the devil cheats Christians. So you see them walking like elephants, eating like an ant, because they do not obey the kingdom principle. So I thank God that it has really gone out well. Somebody is saying, please advise, are we tithing on gross or net salary? Which one? Should I tithe my net or gross?
Wow, very interesting. Pastor, that's a very question that is discussed by very many people, and I leave that to the conscience of our viewers. If you are convinced to tithe on net, go ahead. If you are convinced to tithe on gross, please go ahead. I leave that to the conscience of different listeners, different faith, but for me, I tithe on net.
Okay, I tithe myself on gross. For so many years, I tithe on gross, and I'm very comfortable with it. So if you're out there, you want to tithe on net, you have seen billionaire tithes on net, there is no penalty, because it is tithing after they've deducted some deductions. So whatever is remaining is actually what is yours. So you tithe there. So it is perfect to tithe on net. People who tithe on gross, we have our reasons. We are looking for something. So we want to go an extra mile. There are people who give 10% tithe. There are those who pay 20%. And I know some people who pay 50%. So the minimum is 10, but you can pay more than that. When it comes to process, the list is net. You can't go below net, but you can go to gross. So we leave the choices to you. All right. Can billionaire recommend us investment options? I don't know. Investment options, short and long term. Please just help them. They want to do investment, short term and long term. Can you do some little recommendations, please? It will help.
Wow, Dr. Ali, that's a huge discussion on medium, long-term, short-term investment. Maybe that's a discussion of another day. But of course, there are those short-term investment whereby you can be able to put your money in stocks, whereby when they gain some little money, you sell. There are others who also invest in stock and then they wait for 2 years, 3 years. And there are others who say, I want to invest in a real estate, maybe buying a house that can give me income. That's also a very good investment. And of course, there are various types of investment. Maybe, Dr. Ali, that's a discussion of another day whereby we advise people across the platform of various investments available.
In fact, I thought about it when I read it. I know you can't answer that question tonight because you need to handle long-term investment, then you handle short-term investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be very honored to bring him back to tell us how to do investment. All right, somebody says, I have a question on partnership. What would Billionaire George recommend or advise when it comes to partnership and starting a business? How do we go about it in order to avoid conflict, especially if you're partnering with family or with friends? How do you go about it to avoid any conflict?
Well, very quickly and in summary, do your due diligence to ensure that the partner, you have common values, you have a common focus to avoid conflicts within the family or conflicts within the friends that you are partnering. The key point is do your due diligence so well that you are sure. And of course, if you are partnering and you are married, ensure your spouse knows about the partnership so that when things don't work out or they work out, there is openness. Very, very important.
Excellent. So if you want to partner with a family member, first study the character. Don't just go into partnership because this is my cousin, my sibling. No. If your sibling is not responsible, don't go into partnership with that fellow. If you have a friend and you know that this friend is not trustworthy, don't go into partnership with that fellow. So for me, to partner with somebody, I'll first look at your character, your consistency, and your track record in the past. Then again, the place of prayer, let the Holy Spirit direct you and guide you. All right, somebody is asking, please tell us, how do we massage our customers without overwhelming them? Sometimes marketers massage you till you are left in pain. You know, they keep calling you until it's like, I'm tired or stop calling me. So how do you massage them without being a nuisance? Even us pastors, I am careful how to call people for follow-up. You know, somebody you want to check on the fellow today, tomorrow, they don't want to pick up calls from our follow-up ministers. Why? You guys are just disturbing our life. How do you massage them without going beyond boundaries?
Amazing. Our viewers are very intelligent. Our viewers are amazing. And that is very interesting. Massaging until they feel pain. I think the best thing is that the best thing is that to be moderate. If you are doing up this the customer, be moderate, and also discover the best time to call the customer, the language to use. So for example, if you are giving them a call, you can ask them, hey, hello, Dr. Obasi-ike, is it a good time to talk to you? You know, don't just go straight giving stories. And the thing is to be wise, like Solomon. Be wise, be knowledgeable, to know the best time and the best way and the best place to handle your customer.
Fine, exactly. And also know the temperaments of your customers. If you call somebody today and the fellow is not very willing to talk, know that they like their privacy. So you can use another method of text, WhatsApp, or email instead of call. Then also know the right time. You can't be calling somebody like me by 8 o'clock when I'm with my husband here and you are telling me church business, unless it is something that is urgent and we must get it done or emergency. Otherwise, we respect people's privacy and their time. All right, somebody also is saying, Mr. Washiri, what do you say about investors such as angel investors? Me, I don't know which one is angels investors. Do you know about angels investors?
Well, angels investors are those people who come and give you money because they either trust you, but of course they own part of the business. So it's another long discussion on how to handle such investors, because if you're not very careful, they can come and take over your management, they can take over your business. And I'm sure you know some of the companies in Kenya that were taken over by angel investors because they have the money, but they do not have the skill, they don't know the market. And there are many out there who are willing to come, but it's a discussion that needs expansion.
All right, because I don't want us to go beyond 9:15 because of news and other things, please let's just take one more. The rest of you, apologies. If we have not been able to call out your questions, forgive us. We will return Billionaire one of these days again to deal on investment, short-term and long-term, and we will revisit some of your questions. So let me just take the last one. Sir, how did you choose your partners, your director? How did you choose your partners? How did you choose your directors and the board or advisors of your company?
Wow, thank you, Pastor. And maybe the person who has asked the question, I should donate my book called Soaring Like an Eagle. Many times I've made mistakes, especially in choosing partners. I've made mistakes in bringing people to be directors, and the people who know my story. I have lost money. We have lost money because we picked the wrong people until the time that I discovered that the best partner is my wife. The best partner is the person I married. That's the person I partner with. So the person who has the question, Daktari, I will donate my book to that particular person so that he or she can read and discover how things happen. Because all that you see today, it has been gone through fire, through furnace. That's George Washiri for you.
You know, as you are speaking and donating, God has opened my eyes to see where he's taking Keep It Real show to. Keep It Real show, we get to a place, we are bringing a lot of investors, and in this show, they'll be creating jobs for people, donating things for people, telling people, see me, I will give you access to finance. I just saw it. There is like a revelation that Keep It Real, we take the world by storm, but we be a blessing to the viewers in one way or the other. So, Billionaire, you will be donating 2 books because I am the marketer. I am the one here that is marketing for them. So you cannot give that book to the fellow, the viewer, and you have not given to the sower. I am the one that is here sowing. So I will first get that book, and the second one will be for the fellow who asked. So what we do is that when we are out of the stage, you will tell me where they will pick it up. I will tell the fellow who is asking for this question to go and bring that book and bring 2 and drop 1 in my office, and thank you for the other one. Viewers, you have seen what we have gained tonight, that somebody has gotten a book to now learn how to strategize a company to make sure that the board is right. I need it, by the way. I need it because we create jobs. So we need to know how boards are chosen, advisors are chosen. So how we need the book. You have donated your time, donated your skill, donated your book. These are some of the things that you do that God will never allow you to be a millionaire. From billionaire, you be a trillionaire. From there, you continue because that's the God we serve, according to Proverbs chapter 4, verse 18. So tonight, we have not only gained skill, gained knowledge, but we have gotten 10 opportunities for mentorship at no cost under a billionaire. That CV alone can open door for you after the mentorship. Who mentored you? Billionaire. And you will get connections. And who knows, by the time you are done with the training, he will employ you like the small boy he's talking about. I was the one that asked him to give the boy a job. And when opportunity came, he gave the boy a job. And I'm grateful that it is working out good for the boy. So the 10 of you, we will do proper interview and we will hand you over to him. Once again, billionaire, my friend, you know, it's a pride to have a billionaire friend. We will do more partnerships. You have seen the things I am doing. I have seen you have built a family playground in Kitengela, and I'm so excited I was to be there, but I'm still doing social distancing, so I didn't come. When you launch it on Friday, but it's a good thing. I watched it online. And I told you we are building almost the same as your neighbor in Kitengela. So I told you that when things open up, I will come to your own to see what I can borrow for the one that we are doing. And who knows, Optivin can donate 10 million to what we are building, because we are ministry, we are non-profit, but you are profit. I don't know where the partnership is going, but I can see a glimpse of glory. To our viewers, thank you for watching. Share this video right now. Be a blessing the way Billionaire is a blessing. Right here, he has offered 10 opportunities. Right here, he has donated 2 books. Yours is only to click share to be a blessing to somebody to access this information. Do it, and the God of heaven will bless you with the dew of heaven, and we bless you with the fatness of the earth. Keep your comments coming. Keep your questions coming, one way or the other. We will still answer it even offline, offshore. And at the right time, when we bring him back, we shall also answer. Don't forget, I have a date with you tomorrow night at 8. I have a date with you on Saturday, 3 p.m. Don't miss it for anything in the world. Once again, let's appreciate Billionaire, my friend. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Bless Optiven. Bless your wife. Bless your beautiful children. Bless the works of your hands. Your head will never lack oil. Your garment will never be spotted. It shall continually be well with you. Thank you for being my guest tonight. You viewer, next Sunday, keep it real. We continue the series of marriage, cow, legions. How did they eventually settle their case? And today, they are in a honeymoon. That is Pastor Gideon and his wife. Keep it real. 8 p.m. East African time with Pastor Obasi-ike next week, Sunday. Have a pleasant night. God bless you. Let's give it again to Billionaire.